Hi everyone, it's Girl Climbing and watching another movie of the week. And this movie of the week was Skyfall from 2012. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. If you're new to movie a week, what I do is I talk about a movie here and you guys come fill out your thoughts. And in 2024, we're doing franchises and reboots of this element. So I did 4 James Bond movies. This is the last. So I did Dr. No, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Tomorrow Never Dies. So watch those movies and watch those videos before you do this, and then watch Skyfall, and then watch this video, I guess. So as you can see, I chose Sean Connery, one movie from him, and I did the first movie. And then I chose Roger Moore, and I chose a movie from him. And then I chose Pierce Brosnan, and I chose a movie from him. And then I did Daniel Craig, and I did a movie from him. It's actually kind of crazy because as I'm filming this, which it's actually when I post it, it's gonna be like basically like a month later because I do these ahead of time. But they just announced that Taylor Aaron Johnson, or whatever his name is, might be the next James Bond. Like, it's weird because they said like he's been offered the role, but he hasn't like officially signed it, which I think it's kind of weird because like in Hollywood, you don't like announce things until things are like signed, like they're done, you know? But I think maybe it's because they're like, there's no way he's gonna turn it down. But I also like, I just don't like, why hasn't he taken it yet? Like, that, it just seems like, why not wait until he's accepted it? So I just a little bit worried that it's like a rumor, but he's not someone that like I actually considered for the role. Like, I just, you know, I was very much like Henry Golding or someone like that. Like, I don't know, like I feel like a few years ago I was like, oh my god, Theo James would be so good as James Bond, but now I'm like, I don't know, like if he still would be that good. But now with Aaron Taylor, what is his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson, Taylor something? I don't, oh god, I need to know it. But I actually like, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, he actually would be really good at James Bond. Like, he has it. Obviously, there's 30 James Bond movies thus far. Obviously, now we're gonna get new ones. But I couldn't do every single James Bond. And obviously, it felt like it was important to choose the first James Bond movie, even though, like, I don't know if I were going to do more James Bond movies and would have done multiple from Sean Connery or whatever, like I don't know if I would necessarily pick the first one. And then I'm not exactly sure, like I think I said in my video, I'm not exactly sure why I picked that as the Roger Moore movie. I don't know, maybe just because it was like a badass Russian female spy, I don't know. Then Pierce Brosnan, I picked that movie because I really liked that movie, I think because of Michelle. But a lot of people don't like that movie. And then I picked Skyfall just because I feel like that might be the greatest Daniel Craig movie. Like, I just remember like kind of the feeling of when Skyfall came out. That was like a big deal. Like, Adele won the song in the Oscars or whatever. I think maybe the latest James Bond movie, the people really loved that, or the one before that. I don't know. I can't really recall. And I obviously picked these 4 James Bonds because they've been in the most movies. Like, there was, I think, 2 or 3 other James Bonds, but they were only in 1 or 2 movies. Like, they didn't make a big concrete push, and these were like the most important. And so I don't know, comment below if you didn't like the James Bonds I picked. Comment below if you wish I picked a different movie for the different James Bonds. I don't know. Kind of crazy too, because I talk about this in another video, is how I was watching all these during the pandemic, kind of back, like, you know, a day in between them, but basically back to back. And I, you know, I obviously wasn't thinking that, analyzing that much about it, whatever. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, they literally follow kind of the same thing every single movie. And it's kind of crazy too, because like the formula is a little bit different from the first movie that I did and whatever, because it was the first movie. But basically from like the Roger Moore movie I did, The Spy Who Loved Me, till the end, like they follow the same exact format pretty much, like all these movies. And it's crazy I didn't really discover that. And it's crazy that like they were having this format in the 70s and they still have it nowadays, which I feel like it's a little bit outdated. And I can't believe they still have it, because they have it where, you know, he sleeps with a fling at the beginning and then in the middle of the movie he sleeps with someone who has a little bit more agency, but you know, still that, and then she dies. Well, she dies in this one. She died in the Pierce Brosnan movie. Can't remember in Roger Moore if the girl died. And again, like these are only the movies that I'm talking about here. Like I can't remember all the James Bond. They have this exact formula, but I do remember it being very much like, so maybe it's just like 1 less girl or something in some of them. I don't know. Maybe it's 1 extra girl in some of them. I don't know. And then at the end, he sleeps with someone who has like the most agency, but still like And so this one, like, you don't see it. Like the Naomi Harris character, some points it's implied, but we don't necessarily see it, but it probably didn't happen. But I don't know. It was like a little bit weird. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to change it up and be a little bit less sexist by having it. I don't know. So it starts out with him in the middle of a case, and that's something that, you know, in the formula, things wasn't kind of at the beginning of all the James Bond, but like slowly throughout the James Bond, it became a thing. So it's something that you know, wasn't at the beginning, like, but you know, is kind of with the formula. And then he like dies, but he doesn't really die. But it's kind of like, even in the theme song, they play it like he's died. It's kind of weird. This one, it definitely gets more into like the backstory of James Bond, obviously, because we kind of learn about like where he's come from, what happened to his family, and then we go to his house. It's a little bit crazy. Like this movie is just about like this ex-spy who wants to like go kill M, who's like the leader of these British intelligence or whatever they called, M16, whatever, and wants to take out those spies. So I think it's a little bit different than all these other movies where it's like they just want to end the world. And this is something more specific, is like going after spies, and it's a little bit more personal. So I kind of do like that because, you know, it's not your typical villain story. And so it's really hard to have like unique villain stories. And I feel like it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's kind of crazy, like this woman's old and they're like going after her and she dies in the end anyway. I feel like there's Daniel Craig, there's definitely a lot of like casinos. I feel like casinos are a very big James Bond movie. I mean, or what am I saying? I mean, there's that whole Casino Royale movie that people loved. I didn't like it because it's all gambling. It's all casino the entire time. Gambling. But it's still a very, I don't know, big James Bond thing, and it was a big James Bond thing in this movie. Obviously, like, I feel like as we go through the James Bonds and like the years, there's just more action that they're able to do. So like the action's just better, and the action's just stronger and great that way. I don't know, like when I think about it, I'm like, Daniel Craig, like I don't know, like I have like my reservations with him being James Bond, which I'm sorry, Daniel Craig, if you ever watch this, which you won't, because why would you? But I just like some parts of it, like I'm like, yes, I see him as James Bond, but I also like don't see him as James Bond. I don't know, it's like a little bit weird, and like I don't know if they just like at that time, like he was just better than everyone else and that's why they chose him as James Bond. Like Sean Connery, he is James Bond. Sean Connery is James Bond. I think I talked about with Roger Moore is that like they were trying to get James Bond that looked like Sean Connery. Roger Moore looked different, but he had that swag, and so I think he just like kind of broken a boundary barrier with that, and I felt like he had it. And then Pierce Brosnan, I loved him as James Bond. Like, he did such a good job as James Bond. And Daniel Craig, I'm like, yes, he's good at James Bond, but I also, like, have these reservations. I don't know why. I don't think I have too much more else to say except, you know, this is, like, a big franchise. I think this might be the biggest action franchise, and it has it where they, after every few movies, they have to change to James Bond, and that's just how it is. And it's something where Mission Impossible, you won't see Tom Cruise do that. You won't see someone else be Ethan Hunt. Like, you won't. And it's something where it's like I personally don't like that, like having to replace someone. But this is something that's been going on for what, like 70 years or whatever. So it's something where this is what it is. And I say it's okay. I'm okaying it just because it's James Bond, but no other action movies. I'm okaying with it, or franchises, whatever you want to call it. Thank you guys for watching. And then the movies we're doing next is Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 8. We're only going to do those two Ocean's movies. So comment below your thoughts about all these James Bond movies I'm talking about. You know, any James Bond movies, comment below your thoughts. And then watch Ocean's 11 from 2001 for next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.